Hello there, subscribers. This is going to be a little bit of a different video, a more structured video. I'm going to actually be telling you my top 10 favorite movies of all time. And I was thinking of different ways to do this, but I think this will be the easiest way to do this. By just me telling you what I feel about these movies, kind of off the cuff. I think it'd be better, and these are almost like recommendations almost. So let's get right into it with the honorable mentions. Okay, so these honorable mentions are not in any type of order. It's just the way I wrote them down. There are 10 of them, so this is kind of like my top 20, I guess. But these first 10 are not in order. So first off, we have The Empire Strikes Back, the second of the Star Wars trilogy, the original ones. Collateral with Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx, directed by Michael Mann, excellent movie. Zodiac, directed by David Fincher. Apocalypse Now by Francis Ford Coppola. Boyhood by Richard Linklater, and personally that movie would probably define my life as like the way I kind of live, I guess. Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing. 50-50, starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Seth Rogen. It's a movie that my grandmother wanted to see before she died, and I saw it, and it was great. Dazed and Confused, another Richard Linklater movie that I personally find relatable. Scorsese's The Departed, and finally Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. Those are my honorable mentions, so let's go into my top 10. At number 10, we have Good Will Hunting. So I'm going to tell you how I first saw this. I saw this movie with my mother one night. I got it from the library. And I think this was after Robin Williams died. And seeing that movie changed the way I perceived Robin Williams. I thought he crushed it in the role. Personally, I know some people like him from that movie, and his performance is something, and so is Matt Damon's. Personally, I feel like I'm in that kind of situation as he was in that movie, where I'm kind of at a crossroads right now of what I should do with my life. But the movie really speaks to me, and the performances and the script, they feel so real, and in a way they are, because I'm betting you Matt Damon probably had a similar situation in his life, and Robin Williams, after we knew what happened and what he was going through, that role resonates even more with me, especially because it shows the pain and the grief he probably was suffering at that time. So please, check out Good Will Hunting. It is an excellent film. At number 9, we have Terrence Malick's The Thin Red Line. So I saw this movie, again with the library copy, with my father, who he was actually tired because he just got done working late, so he fell asleep. But that movie racked my soul. I remember seeing it, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, it came out the same year as Saving Private Ryan, but that movie, in my opinion, is way better than Saving Private Ryan. You have this whole entire ensemble of cast. They even had to cut out Mickey Rourke, of all people, because they had not enough room. But the cast was amazing, especially Nick Nolte and Elias Cotes. They stood out the most, I think, in their roles. And the cinematography is just so lush. There isn't much of a script to the movie, but the editing, the acting is just amazing. I eventually wanted to read the book, but it made you feel like you were in war. Something that Saving Private Ryan did as well, but there's also a lot more, I guess, themes like about life in Terrence Malick's Thin Red Line. To me, it is his best, right up there with The Tree of Life for him. This movie needs to be seen, and it is extremely underrated. So please, check it out. The next film, for number 8, probably everybody has seen. It's The Return of the King, from Lord of the Rings. I like the other two a lot. Actually, they might be in my top 20. It's just, I kind of like to separate films like that. But The Return of the King, it was great. I got the 3 movies for Christmas, actually, one year, and I kind of saw them really far apart. But when I saw Return of the King, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like one of the best endings to any story ever. I mean, yes, there are many of them, but they're all fantastic. Andy Serkis as Gollum is fantastic, and Sean Astin, he was extremely underrated in his role as Sam. Probably my top 10 performances of all time, and he crushes it in the movie. He outshines everyone. His scene, when he figures out Gollum was lying to him, and then also the subsequent fighting of the giant spider, I forgot her name, but it was Oscar worthy. But you know, Oscars don't like to award fantasy, I guess. But I thought it was a very fitting conclusion, and it actually inspired me to even write my own fantasy, which I still need to do. So yeah. At number 7, we have a smaller movie, but a very popular movie at that, and that is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind with Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet. To me, this movie is it. I don't know really how to describe it from like how it fits in with me, but I just kind of resonate with Jim Carrey's role, and even Mark Ruffalo's role in the movie as well. But Jim Carrey breaks your heart in this movie. Just like in The Truman Show and Man on the Moon, Jim Carrey is an excellent dramatic actor. Also, the plot, or like the setting, is very unique. It almost like it can take place in our world, but just the fact that you can erase memories, it's great. And also the way that it's almost like Inside Out, because even the bad memories are what make you you. I mean, I have plenty of bad memories that I would like to delete, but those bad memories shape who you are. And if you forget them, you may forget the good times you had with someone, or the good times you had at a certain place. Like, life has its ups and downs, and the ups should be more than the downs, and that movie shows it to you perfectly. The film I have at number 6 is another classic, The Shawshank Redemption. It is probably one of the most joyous movies you can watch, excluding some certain parts, which I'm not going to spoil. But Morgan Freeman, his personal life aside, he was amazing in his role, and so was Tim Burton and James Whitmore. Not Tim Burton, what am I saying? I forgot his name, but the guy who plays Andy, and then James Whitmore, they were fantastic in their roles as well. Very underrated, at least compared to Morgan Freeman. It showed that Morgan Freeman can narrate. Also, like, it's just the classic story of, like, somebody who was placed in a situation that he had no control over, but he makes the best of it, and he later, like, escapes from it, and he gets a better life. It's a powerful movie. It's one of the greatest scores of all time, and with some of the greatest performances of all time. And it's just a movie you can watch at any time. So, please, watch it. The very few of you who have not seen it, just go see it. At number 5, we have Goodfellas. And going into that movie, it was overhyped to the max. Everybody loved it. My father was saying that it was one of his favorite movies, so I was like, okay, I can't wait. So I bought it at Best Buy, actually, and it blew me away. Ray Liotta and Joe Pesci just was... They had some of the greatest chemistry I've seen in any movie. And also, you even got to see a cameo from Samuel L. Jackson. And Robert De Niro was pretty good, but Joe Pesci's funny house scene is probably the single greatest dialogue scene in any, or shall I say, monologue scene in any movie. It is perfect. The script is perfect, Scorsese's direction is perfect, and Ray Liotta, who I believe that was one of his first roles, was outstanding as this one guy who just is trying to make it for himself and his family, and it just falls downhill. Just please watch it, and maybe you can take some things out of it even. Yes, it's like a classic gangster movie, but it doesn't mean that it's not thoughtful, and it's resonant even today. At number 4, we have Clint Eastwood's Mystic River. I saw this with my father, actually. I bought it because I knew my father liked Clint Eastwood, so I'm like, oh, let's watch it. It wrecked me. Sean Penn and the guy who plays Andy, I'm still forgetting his... Tim Robbins. and Kevin Bacon, and even Marsha Gay Harden and Laura Linney, they are perfect in the roles. It's probably one of the best ensembles of all time. I've been thinking about that movie a lot because of recent events in the news and stuff. And also I keep going back to that movie as an inspiration for my own writings. It is perfect script, perfect acting, and perfect direction. This is Clint Eastwood's best movie in my opinion, and probably one of his most underrated movies. Also, Sean Penn as I don't remember his name, but I think his name is Jimmy. Don't quote me on that, but it is a Shakespearean role, and his end scene with Kevin Bacon, it really, really is a sad ending, but it is a perfect ending for these characters and the road they went on. Because it shows you that consequences must be faced when you mess up. And honestly, that's what a lot of people should learn from that movie. Consequences should happen. So, yeah, check it out. It's a great movie and one of my favorites. Okay, we're in the top 3 now, people. My number 3 film of all time is Boogie Nights. This movie I saw on TV, actually. One of the few movies I saw on TV that made it in my top 20. Mark Wahlberg was in it. Burt Reynolds crushes it in his role, and so does Julianne Moore. It's basically about basically it's like a huge ensemble. You got Don Cheadle, a lot of other people you may recognize. What's his name? He had a small... Alfred Molina. It was also great. That's one of the best scenes of all time as well. I would rank that up there with Joe Pesci's Funny House scene. It has... the themes of just, family who aren't really your family is really, I think, awesome. And that's also in a lot of my writings. Family that's not family. But, yeah, just check it out. It's really long, but I actually just recently watched it. For being a 3-hour movie, it felt like 20 minutes. It's quick editing. Some of the best editing I've ever seen, especially the long takes, especially with William H. Macy's death scene. I think that's another great scene. And it's just a heartbreaking movie that, through strange ways, really resonates with, I think, a lot of people with themes of family, depression, and just trying to make it in this world. Okay, now my number 2 may seem weird compared to the rest because it's a very small movie. I don't hear anyone talk about it at all. It's also a very depressing movie. It's called American History X, starring Edward Norton and Edward Furlong, and Stacey Keach and Beverly D'Angelo. I randomly picked this up at Walmart one time. I'm like, oh, Edward Norton, he's a good actor. I saw him in Birdman. He's a good actor. Fight Club, you know. That movie, I was surprised how much I loved it. It's definitely not for the faint of heart, but Edward Norton's performance, I said Sean Penn's performance in Mystic River is Shakespearean. His is past Shakespearean. It is a feat of acting that is highly underrated. Basically, it's about a man who was a neo-Nazi who was sent to prison, and his brother is actually thinking about joining the neo-Nazis. But during Edward Norton's time in prison, he regrets the way he was been acting, and he doesn't want his brother to fall into that trap. It's a movie that not everybody will love, but it's a movie that everybody should see, I think. Just the way how this man changes the way he thinks, the way he thought his whole entire life. Honestly, it needs to happen today. A lot of people need to change the way they think towards certain things, and maybe if they watch this movie, maybe it'll change their minds as well. And it's also one that, the way it's edited also, with the black and white being the past and the color cinematography being in the present, almost shows you a shift of Edward Norton's character, of him thinking things in black and white terms, literally and figuratively, in the past. But then in the future, or the present, he sees things in a lot more diverse way. Like, he finds common ground with a lot of different people, and he's trying to fix his past. So that's kind of interesting. I never really thought about that before, but thinking about it now, it's genuinely genius. It's genius filmmaking, and it's totally underrated. We're at number 1 now. My number 1 favorite movie of all time. What's it gonna be? I don't even know. I'm kidding. A lot of people who know me know what my favorite movie is, but since you may not know what it is, I'm gonna tell you it right now. It is No Country for Old Men. What? The movie with no ending is my favorite movie of all time? Well, here's an explanation. So, after I saw 12 Years a Slave in 2013, I'm like, oh, I need to watch all the Best Picture winners now. And that was, I think, my number 2. The second one I picked up because it's like, oh, Tommy Lee Jones. He was in Lincoln. I like Lincoln. At least I liked his character in Lincoln. Picked it up. Oh my god. It's just, I remember the first time I watched it, I was sitting in my recliner chair, which is now gone. It's broken. In front of my computer, because I watch movies on my computer. It was from the library as well. And just watching Scene 1 with Javier Bardem, he captivates the screen. He is up there with Heath Ledger and Joe Pesci, some of the best villains. He is a tour de force in that film. And Josh Brolin also, he delivers a nuanced performance with a role that could have been totally just nothing. It is... The performances, like I just said, were great, but the script. I know a lot of people have faults with the ending. I personally love the ending. Just the way that Ed Bell, him trying to basically come to terms with the violence of this time. And it's almost that resonates today. Right now, we're living in a violent time. I mean, it's always been violent, but it seems more violent than ever. And just the way he tries to rationalize the way he thinks, like how back then cops didn't even have to carry a gun. Nowadays, you see cops with guns all the time because we live in a violent time. It's resonant, and it's just something that I think everybody should see. I know a lot of people don't like the ending, but I personally believe that Javier Bardem's ending of the movie is also fitting, because it's almost like a punishment for his previous crimes of killing Llewellyn. Now, he didn't kill Llewellyn. Let me bring that up in a second. But killing Llewellyn's innocent wife after her mother's burial. I think that was justice for that, because she was innocent in all of this. But Llewellyn's crime was that he was kind. His crime was that he went back to the crime scene in the beginning of the movie to give somebody water. And, like, he could have gotten away with getting the money, but he was a good person, and that's why he did that. And in the end, he died being another good person by protecting that girl from the gang that was trying to take the money away from him. So he died a good person, and he lived a good person, and he died a good person. It's just, but he was embroiled in this thing because he was trying to help out himself, yes, but also his wife, which he truly cared about. You can tell, because you could tell in the movie that he really cared about his wife. And also Tommy Lee Jones' character, he's also very underrated, I think. He is like the embodiment of, I would say, probably a mixture between my father and my grandfather. Just the way he thinks and the way he acts, and just he's a good guy. Just like Llewellyn, he is a good man, and you can tell just the way he cares for Llewellyn's wife after they figured out that Llewellyn died, and the way he tries that scene in the motel room where he's about to confront Anton. That scene is very underrated, I think, because he could have killed him. both of them could have killed each other. He just they subconsciously knew they were there together, but they were like, let's just wait and see. It's almost like they met their match, and I think they did. Just the Coen Brothers knocked it out of the park, and the cast did as well. So that No Country for Old Men is my favorite movie of all time. Now, just to let you know, I want this to be like a conversation. Put your favorite movie of all time. And maybe you will agree with this list. Maybe you won't. It doesn't matter because we all have our favorites. In fact, your favorites might be some of my favorites, just I didn't talk about them. Let me know if you like this type of video as well, because I might make this for books, for TV shows, for songs. In fact, I'm probably going to do like a top 10 list for songs soon, I want to say. So I've been listening to a lot of music. So just let me know in the comments below of what I should do and some of your favorite films, because I just like looking at that stuff. So yeah, have a good day and be safe.